Welcome to Mokena's Front Porch, a Mokena history podcast with Matt Galick and me, Israel Smith. This episode, we talked to the mayor of Front Street himself, Mr. Little Al. And unfortunately, Matt was not able to sit down with us when we went. But we were joined by Tony Margis, who is a fellow Marine with Little Al, and they're longtime friends. And so he kind of helped put it together a little bit as well, and brought some really interesting history about Al, and actually his family's history, and some photos and information from his dad's business as Al was growing up, which was really interesting. And it was kind of a neat, you'll hear kind of a neat little surprise for Al. So that's all stuff that we'll put on Facebook with the episode. Matt, what's the, Little Al's is, for us, that's been so far our most listened to episode.
Yeah, it has. It's a really popular one.
I think everybody in town here knows Little Al's.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a local landmark, that's for sure.
So it was, we'll hear, it's interesting to hear the history of Al. And like we kind of were figuring out a little bit, he is, as of right now, the second longest owner of that building, which is the Little Al's building. And
yeah, he's been
Matt,
around a while. Yeah.
What are some of the names of that building, that establishment before?
Yeah, well, let's see. That was the John Sheik, or Johann Sheik before he Americanized his name, a saloon for a fair amount of time, starting in the 1870s and going into the 1880s when his son Charles took over. Then was kind of host to a variety of short-lived owners all the way up until it must have been around 1902 or thereabouts when Frank Hirsch acquired the property, and he kept up a saloon, I guess you could call it, there all the way up until I'm trying to remember when he retired. I believe that must have been around the early 1940s or thereabouts when he passed the business on to his son, Frank Jr., who had it for a little while, and then sold it to Richard Mueller. And I believe Mrs. Mueller was Eleanor Mueller. They have family around, so if that's not right, they'll correct us. But that was Mueller's all the way up until about the mid 1960s or so.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, and Al purchased it in 1985.
Yep, that's right. So that's already starting to go back a little bit.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is an interesting, it's always interesting to sit down and talk with somebody like Al, somebody who's, used to talking to people for a living there besides pouring a few beers and making a few burgers.
Yeah, right.
And, it was nice. He, as I said, him and Tony are both former Marines, and he talks about his military service a little bit as well. And again, how they carry that tradition on the Marine Corps' birthday every year. And so we got the invite to that, Matt. So,
oh, really? Okay, cool.
We'll see if we were able to make it down. So
yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, enjoy this episode with Little Al, as well as Tony Margis. So, Tony, thank you for kind of arranging this and helping make this happen tonight. Tony and Al are our Marine buddy friends, and both served. So thank you both for your service. We appreciate that. But we just wanted to come tonight, Al, and kind of talk about you a little bit and get your story, and tell us a little bit about where you were born, where you grew up.
Like I say, I'm originally from the Roseland area. My father had a bar in the Pullman area, 111th and Langley, and I think I was in first grade, and this man taught me how to make change. For a bottle of beer and a shot was 35 cents, and I didn't know how to do it. I had to try to subtract the thing, and he came behind the bar and showed me how to make change. So I knew how to make change when I was in first grade.
Wow. That's one great way to learn your math skills, huh?
Yeah. So
how long that was? Whose bar was that?
Yeah, and then my dad had that bar, and I went to St. Anthony's School, and then we moved to 105th and Vernon. I ended up going to Bennett, they were both great schools, and they still invited me to all the Fager reunions, and that was nice. Roseland was a beautiful place.
What do you remember about Roseland?
Well, the avenue for one. I mean, we used to cruise the avenue up and down with cars, and hey, want to get a ride? And we pick up some dollies and remember that. That was nice.
And how old were you when you left Roseland?
I moved away when I was 24 when I got married to my wife, Mary.
Oh, so you really grew up most of your life in Roseland.
Right. Oh,
there.
yeah.
And where did you meet your wife? Was it in the area?
I met her at a carnival, but she was going with a buddy of mine. And then he just stopped going out with her, and I guess I started going out with her and never thought I'd marry her, but I did. Here I am, 60 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what year did you guys get married?
June 9th, 1962, I'm pretty sure.
And you said you were 23 years old?
Yeah.
When that happened?
I was 24.
24. So, as we said, you were in the service, in the Marines.
In the Marines.
When did you go into the Marines?
The day after I graduated high school.
Wow.
1957.
And what was that experience like?
I said, okay, you little dago, get yourself out of this one.
Do you think it was a good overall experience?
No, I'm glad I was I'm proud to be a Marine.
So you were in the service for...
I went in the reserves. I was in there for 8 years.
8 years. Yeah. And so were you married while you were still...
Well, at the end I was, yeah.
At the end. So you get married and you left Roseland then at that point?
Yeah, we got married. We moved to Harvey to an apartment. Yeah, so she could walk to the train. She worked downtown for International Harvester.
And what were you doing at the time for work?
I was tending bar and cutting hair.
So this bar business isn't new to you then, huh?
No, it's not new
kind of
to
in
me.
your blood,
No.
huh? What was Harvey like back in those days?
It was nice. It was a nice town.
And anything interesting happened in the bars there in Harvey in those days?
No, I was tending bar at Vincey's Tap in Roseland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of things happened over there.
Any stories you want to share with us? That
those are pretty tough.
Okay. So Harvey, how long did you stay in Harvey?
7 years, and then I moved to Chicago Heights. And I was there for 16 years, and I came. Then my buddy found this bar, and I bought this bar. I sold my house and bought the bar. Little L's Mokena.
So you left Chicago Heights around 1985, about then?
Yep, 85.
And did you move into the bar, the upstairs then?
Yeah, I lived upstairs for maybe 16, 17 years, but my wife wanted a house, and she says, we're going to move out to Mantino.
1985, you buy what's now Little Al's.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was it like coming to Mokena?
It's a nice town. I met a lot of nice people. I seen a lot of people come and go, and I seen a lot of people pass away. And I also told a lot of people, say, you know what, you're mistreating this stuff, and you're not supposed to do that.
What was, could you kind of describe what Mokena was like when you bought the bar here in 1985?
It was different for me. It was kind of slow motion, like,
A lot different than
and
Roseland?
was like a race car.
What kind of, like, could you maybe describe what Front Street looked like then, or what kind of some of the...
It's just about the same as it is almost today. I mean, but the people were real nice, and I met a lot of great people in my 38 years here. I can't say enough about some of the people that I met.
So what was that process like when you bought here? Was the community welcoming? Was there a bar here already, or?
Well, there were a couple. There was one across the street, and then there was the VFW, and then there was one on the corner. I think it was called Big Shots. Yeah. And the people usually went to one to the other one, like a merry-go-round. Yeah, we got to know them all.
And how about over the years? What kind of events or different things have you hosted here?
You know, we had the events. We had the Lions Club had the tent dance. That was nice. I was always at the door getting lip locks. And then after my part was there, then I go dancing. I start out with one girl, then all of a sudden there was a circle of girls around me, because if you didn't know how to dance in Roseland, you went home with the Tribune. And I didn't go home with the Tribune.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
Go home with the Tribune, you're not going home with a chick.
So you didn't have that problem. You weren't.
I didn't have that problem in Roseland. No.
Okay. So tell us about the bar here and kind of some of the stuff that you've done over the years in the bar. Or have you ever had any hosted events? I know there used to be the talk of like the bird party or the fowl parties.
We used to cook, well, like Thanksgiving, we used to go get about 6 turkeys, and we'd cook them out there, and and everybody come in, and it was all for free.
Oh, wow.
So that was nice. But then all of a sudden, they start getting old that I didn't even know who these people were, so we cut that out.
Kind of as the town grew and changed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it changed. A lot of new people, yeah.
So how do you think Little Al's, the bar here, is different now than it was in, say, 1985 when you came in?
Oh, wow. I remember that when that COVID-19 came in, I think they closed me down for 3 months. And that hurt my business a lot. But then it's coming back now. It's we're having a good time.
And you're still cooking. You're still doing meals here.
Yeah, we still do meals.
Do your spaghetti dinner and all that.
We started out making steaks on Friday night. They like that. So,
can I step in?
Yeah, please, Tony.
One unique thing about Al is that he has a great following. He's a 1957 graduate of Chicago Vocational High School, which is over by Chicago Skyway on 79th Street, and there's a group of guys.
We get a lot of. We get some guys that come in from Chicago Vocational once a month here.
Yeah, once a month they come and eat lunch here and interact with him, and
wow. And you're right, and and then there's guys from Roseland come here. We have a party with them sometime. And there's people through my years attending bar, there's a lot of people that know me. So they come this far just to say hello.
Wow, yeah, that's
which is
great.
Nice, yeah.
And Tony, you kind of brought a little bit of history for us, too, here with your paper. We can post and share some of these pictures, but you want to talk a little bit about what you came up with?
We're gonna go back and verify some pictures, because Al's... I kind of shocked them with this, but there used to be a TV show on in the 60s and 70s, and it was called This Is Your Life, and they would bring different people from behind a curtain and surprise the guest about his past life. So when I was going through this, just because I've known Al now for about 20 years, like I said, Al and I are both Marines. He's very giving. He's a comic. I love the guy. But I wanted to go back and find out a little bit more. So I kind of pressed him when I came in on Saturday about his dad and where the tavern was at. And just by a few little things that he gave me, Barney's Club and whatnot, I was able to go into a newspaper source study. It's called newspapers.com. And it's a little PDF file. And you basically type in a name or an address or a particular, and it pops up.
Well, the one thing I learned how to draw root beer for Filbert's root beer. That's what I used to draw behind the bar for me.
So what the people that are listening to us right now can't see is what we'll post later. But I found an article from 1958 where his dad owned a restaurant.
I can't.
And Al's kind of shocked that I found that, but I did.
I am.
And then on the following page that we're looking at,
so I'm sorry, Tony. That's Barney's. That's Barney's Supper Club.
His dad's middle name was Barney.
So what do you remember about Barney's?
Well, like I say, I was drawing root beer. And the guy, my dad went to the kitchen, and this man says, "Give me a shot in a beer." They had put a shot on the wash rack, then put it up on the bar, and give him a beer. And I think it was 35 cents at that time, a bottle of beer and a shot. And
you don't still offer that deal here, do you?
man's name was Mr. Fagan, and he taught me how to make change that day, and I've always remembered that.
Wow. Very cool. All right, Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, so sure.
Yeah,
So 11112 South Langley Avenue was the Barney's Supper Club. I
Yeah.
think it originally started out as just a tavern.
Yeah,
But
right.
it rolled into steaks, ribs,
Yeah,
chicken,
right.
prime rib, the whole shebang.
Yes.
And that's where Al was fortunate enough to have a great job prior to joining the Marine Corps in 1957. So on the second page, which, like we'll say, we'll share on the website, is the actual building that was his father's tavern and restaurant. Beautiful building. Anything in that area, Pullman, Roseland, they always have nice brick buildings. I'm guessing, was this ever a hotel, or did you guys ever?
Yes, it was.
Right on the top floor.
It was. That's where they housed the workers at the Pullman train shop.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. So from there, I went to another website called classmates.com. Obviously, they're not paying for any of this. I'm just throwing it out there, but it's a free access. You don't have to even be a member. You can go in there, go in the search bar and type in anybody's last name, and any year, anywhere in the entire United States will pop up your high school picture and all the little things that
Wow.
you did. So right now, the picture that we have here may or may not be Al, but it sure
Not
looks
me.
like him.
How about this picture on the bottom there, Al, with everybody in the swimming
I
swimming
can't
outfits?
remember where I was at.
I'm gonna have to get you a magnifying glass.
I think I'm sitting on the.
You remember that though?
Yeah. I think
What,
I'm sitting on the springboard.
Yeah, that's from 1956,
The
by the
second
way.
from the left, I think that's me.
And was this your school swim team?
CBS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
CBS.
High school?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he graduates 1957, Chicago Vocational, and
Right.
like all good men, most men, joined the Marine Corps.
Yes.
And I'll let you talk about the Marine Corps if you want a little bit, because
Yeah,
it really
sure.
intertwines. If you look at all the art that's on the wall and all the comical things on the bar back over there, it's all Marine Corps related or military related,
Yes.
right? And everybody
Yes.
knows. Go ahead, I'll let you talk. So,
Al, what do you think your service did for you as a young adult, as a young person?
Well, I always wanted to be one. I was really 2 inches too short to be there in the first place, but I did it. And I love my country, and it's hard to say about that. You get kind of choked up a little bit. There ain't a lot of people that think that way today.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show how important that is to you, and
Yes.
and this place obviously is kind of a living memorial
Yeah.
to the service, your service,
right.
and others around here, which is awesome.
People just I wore that my Marine Corps had. It says Semper Fi, and the bottom it says the little guy, and I'm just proud to be the little guy that did it.
That's awesome.
yeah, the Marine Corps had height and weight requirements. We won't say on the radio here how tall Al really is, but like you said, he was 2 inches too short. But
Yeah.
with lips and whatnot,
was-
you can get in and do anything, right?
Pardon?
With the little lips and the shoes.
Yeah.
What was really impressive when I was doing the background research on Al is that in 1983, he got interviewed by the Chicago Tribune, and because he is so patriotic, he wrote a letter to the Tribune stating that people should really respect the anthem. We'll post it on the site and you can read it, but it's pretty deep. And it just basically says that when the national anthem's playing, you're supposed to take your hat off. We both go to a lot of baseball games. You don't see that too much anymore. Some people take it off, some leave it on. Some people put their hand over the heart, some don't. But as military veterans, we all do it, and we always want everybody else to do it. So I'll let
Al,
you talk about that. Al.
what made you want to write the article?
I just had my triple bypass, and my buddy took me to Wrigley Field, and these two guys were sitting down at the national anthem, and I think if I didn't have the triple bypass, I probably would have ended up in jail because I would have went and got them.
So fast forwarding, if I can jump from that to
Sure.
the next
Yeah.
one. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rapid here. Prior to little Al being here at 11034 Front Street here in Mokena, this place was actually called the Old Hotel Inn. It was actually a hotel, and at one time,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, a conversation I had with Al that the village wanted to somehow maybe make this a legacy place, which would be a national landmark. But you opted out on that because there's certain requirements you can and can't do. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if we could have had Illinois poker machines in here, or we could have done stuff to the bar because they want you to keep the footprint a certain way. So Al decided not to become a national landmark, which it could have been. Cause I think this building's 100 years old, and then he just did his own little updates. So, but in 1974, this place was robbed, and I'm laughing because it's so long ago. But there's a article in a newspaper called The Star from 1974, and it says there's a $500 reward. So I printed it out. I brought it in just to show Al.
Nice.
And basically, with the rest of this podcast, we will learn a little bit more about him, and I'll give it back to Al and Israel.
Thank you, Tony. That's really interesting, and all the stuff that you found, Tony, and shared, on our Facebook page, and that is really interesting as well.
The bar in my life, it was just a job that I enjoyed doing. That it was nice, and my dad said to me one time, I had a shot with my buddy, came in the bar. He was 1 month older than me, and I was 17. He turned 18. And I was standing in the bar, and I said, "You said have a shot." I said, "Okay, Jer, happy birthday, week." My dad says, "You know what? I don't know if you're going to be a bartender or bar owner. He said, when you're behind a bar, you don't drink." And here I am, 84 years old, and I'm not an alcoholic.
Well, that was probably a good advice to follow then, huh?
My dad taught me that.
So what's it like working behind the bar here at Al's? Like,
it's fun.
You have a few characters that come in this place every now and then?
I know. I was all the time. I was going to write a book. I had everything, and all my notes with this guy, but he passed away, and his brother didn't know where they were at. I was going to name the book "The View from the Other Side."
Any stories that you might be able to share with us?
Well, I don't think I want to do some of those.
You can tell
I think there were two guys here one time. There's two guys here one time, and the guy says, "Hey, let's go across the street and play pool." He went over there. Then this couple came in the back. He said, "Hey, this one guy's got a gun." And he said, "Oh, he's coming in the back now." And he says, "Hey, did you see that guy I was?" I said, "Yeah, he just was here. He ran out the front door." When he ran out the front door, the cops are waiting for him. That's one of them.
Wow.
Something like that. So,
what a lot of people don't know is Al here has a great voice. And if you ever want to hear it, come in here on November 10th, which is the Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy can sing like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's killer voice.
I would definitely have to make it down here for that.
Yeah. Killer voice, Tony.
Well, Tony, you've spent a lot of time with Al. Any stories that stick out to you that you think he should share with the listeners?
Like I said, he's a unique, friendly guy. Like I said, we're both military, but even though we're so far apart in age, he actually feels like he is my brother, which he is.
We are.
I'm going to be like him here and have a tear in a minute, but he's just very giving. People have no idea how many meals he's made here. They have a kitchen literally 50 feet from where we're sitting at. Yeah. And the staff and, everybody he hires that comes in here, everybody's very nice.
Yeah, so a lot of pasta out of here.
A lot of pasta, yeah. He always has the special during lunchtime.
Yeah.
A lot of great meals. And like I said, I'm not in here a ton, but when I do come in here, it's for where I grew up under the Chicago Skyway. There was a tavern on every corner.
Yeah.
So and you don't have that in this neighborhood.
Well, this definitely has, is the small town bar. Yeah. I mean, we live down the street here. And it's, walk in, after, later at night with a couple neighbors and have a few drinks. And it's just, just a comfortable place.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. Because if I get somebody that's like rowdy, I just tell them, hit the road. I don't want to see you no more.
And he breaks out his Bruce Lee moves and throws them out the door.
Yeah.
Right?
That's happened.
Yeah.
And the police, they like me too because they say, "Hey, you don't have no problems in that bar."
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Nowadays, and probably in the last 20 years, the term dive bar has always been used.
Yeah.
And whether it's a dive bar or hole-in-the-wall bar, you got an owner here that really loves the community. gives back to the community, and and likes all his patrons that come in here. Can't say enough about him. I don't want to get him too tall here, but he's a great guy.
So, Al, I've heard back before your days, the basement was used a lot for village hall meetings and different things like that.
They tell me that was a dance hall down there.
Okay.
They had church down there. Upstairs, they housed the men that worked on the railroad. Then it turned into, I guess, a whorehouse, I guess, too. That happened up there, too. So,
Wow.
Brothels are us,
I mean,
right?
It happened.
A lot of things happen in this building. They tell me that Abraham Lincoln slept there one night. I can't prove that, but they told me that.
It's a good story, if nothing else, right?
Well, the older people that already gone, they said that he was up there for one night because they had the railroad right here, and that was it. He stayed at the hotel.
I'll have to research that one.
Yeah. What? How is the inside? How does this place look now compared to when you bought it in 1985?
I don't think it's changed that much. No.
A couple different posters on the wall or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
But nothing significant for changes.
Other than the Illinois machines now. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, then they got our poker machines now. That's new.
With the town, just kind of being here, and with Little Al's being such an important part of downtown Mokena, and it's definitely a significant point of the history of Mokena, being one of the oldest buildings here.
Yeah, if you probably have to replace one of these doors, I don't think you could replace it. You'd have to really do something.
Yeah, to get a custom guy.
Because they don't make doors that size no more.
So you get really like kind of a flashback.
Something like
when you walk in this place. You can still feel like what it was like.
We got to invite this old house to come here and keep it the same.
For sure.
Freshen it.
Yeah, the back part was an add-on, and underneath the kitchen was a cistern. Somebody filled it in with dirt. I don't know why, but it was a cistern.
Tony, I don't know if there's any more you want to add, or anything you think would be interesting to listeners that
Tony
or
did a nice
Al?
job on finding some of this stuff out.
I got more. I didn't bring everything with me.
That I can't believe.
Yeah. So if, like I said, if you're new to this podcast and never been in Little Al's and you want to pop in and really pop in on November 10th. I know everybody knows Veterans Day is November 11th, but us Marines have a birthday, which is
November
10th.
1775.
Correct.
Samuel E. Nichols signed up the free recruiter in Tunn's Tavern, Philadelphia.
There you go.
It's brainwashed into our head.
That's right.
So, Al, if you could fast forward 20 years from now and look at this place, what do you hope that it looks that Little Al's is in 20 years from here?
I would hope it'd be the same way.
Yeah. And
why would you change it?
If somebody hasn't been here before, what would that mean to them? Like, how would you describe walking in the front door of Little Al's for the first time?
There ain't too many bars like this anymore. They're all like 20 TVs, and loud music, and this is it. This is a neighborhood bar.
Yeah. And how about a little bit about you and your wife? Where are you at when you're not here? What do you? You have another house.
We're probably going somewhere for a ride into Indiana and going to a friend of mine's restaurant and eating dinner.
And how about for anything you do for fun? Any extracurricular activities or?
Well, extra. I don't.
Are you a traveler or?
No, I'm not. I haven't had a vacation. I went to Italy for 3 times. My wife has been there 12 times.
Wow.
She likes it up there. We belong to this Veneti del Mondo club, and that's the Northern Italians. That's where I get my blue eyes from the Germans up there. The other side of the mountain is Austria. So,
Wow. That's awesome.
So I'm probably an Austrian with an Italian name.
Well, there's so much with this place. I think I'm sure but I think most people that have come in here understand like it's a special place.
Oh, a lot of
And,
them. There's just a lot of people like a bar like this
Yeah.
because it just it's they just like it. They say, hey, there aren't too many bars like this. We like this kind of bar.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's just screams community. Like this is a small town.
And we put our own things up there, which really shouldn't be up there, but I do it because that's the way I am. I do it the way I want to do it.
I think that probably sums you up more than anything else.
Yeah.
You do it because that's the way you are.
That's the way I want it done.
And you're true to yourself.
Yeah.
And everything you do.
And if you don't like it, it's too bad.
It is a great little shot in a beer bar.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
said, you don't see those anymore. Everything is all fancy drinks and, like you said, sports TVs and jukebox blasting. But this is very comfortable.
Yeah.
Come here for a couple of hours, have a
Yeah.
beer, talk to Al.
Yeah.
Well, Al, anything else you want to add? Any words?
I want to thank you for interviewing me. I appreciate it. It's nice of you to come
Absolutely.
down here.
Well,
You and Tony?
and thank you, Tony, again for kind of mentioning bringing up the idea and arranging this. And like I said, the first podcast that we did was on Little Al's and the history of this building.
Yeah, and
it was very, very popular. It was by far, like I said, more people have listened to that episode, and it says something about the place.
Yes.
Kind of that. This place has that grip on history,
Well, a lot of people says, well, 2-3 years, you'll be here, you'll be gone. It's okay, yeah, all right. You think so, huh? I didn't think I lived this long. I'm here 38 years.
Wow. Well, you're, and I believe you're close approaching you're the second longest owner right now of this building.
Yeah.
And closely approaching the longest owner. So
Yeah.
hold in there.
That's in there.
Get you that record.
Thank you.
So, again, Al, thank you very much for talking to me tonight.
Hey,
and Tony
all right.
coming as well. And for those of you that haven't been here, stop in, say hi to Al or whoever's working. It's a great community place. Good dinner. Any dinner specials you want to promote while we're...
Hey, we sell a lot of hamburgers.
Do you? Best hamburgers
Best
in town,
hamburger
I
in the
heard.
area. Not in town, in the area.
Oh, the area.
For the
Okay.
best price.
Awesome. Well, Al, we hope this place is hanging around like this for another 100 years.
Let's hope so. And
right.
I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate talking to you. I want to thank Al for taking some time to talk with me. Thanks to Tony for helping make it happen and for bringing that really cool history about Al and his family. Bars like Little Al's have been meeting points and community centers for generations, especially across Chicago and the south suburbs. If you haven't had the chance to stop in and experience Little Al's, you definitely should, because one day, you never know, it might be too late. Be sure to check out our Facebook page for photos and the articles that Tony brought. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Mokena's Front Porch. If you're enjoying our show, it would mean a lot to us if you would leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Mokena's Front Porch.